Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. Now, a couple of days ago, I set out to make an album in a day. Now, I'd seen this sort of thing going around a little bit. If you type in, I made an album in a day or in 24 hours, whatever, you will see that there's quite a few of them, particularly Andrew Huang and Rob Scallon. They've made a band called, I think it's called October the 1st, where they make albums again and again and again and again and again each year. Every time under a day. They do it in a studio and they kind of vlog the entire process. If you kind of see, you know, they're in a studio, there's like various cameramen sort of hanging around, and they're all lav mic'd up and they're making the stuff in real time, and that's why the videos are all like quite long, because it's an amalgamation, edited down version of an entire day's recording, and it's quite fun. And they do little spins with it, like we use the Beatles gear, we use the Beatles instruments, blah, blah, blah. This guy also, Bradley Hall, he tends to make almost more jokey. I don't know if they are jokey, it's just he treats them a little bit jokey when he releases them, because he did a Dream Theater style one and he called it like Big Chungus's like Metropolis or something like that. And I wanted to set out to make a real album, just a normal album, like any other album that could possibly exist, and that if you didn't know it was made in a day, you wouldn't think anything of it. So I made an album called 12 Hours of Stubbornness, and here's the album art. It's this picture, this Polaroid picture that someone drew sort of my face on it, which thank you very much for this, by the way. It's so cool, because now it's been used in this. I really like this. It sits here. It sits over here most of the time and sort of watches me do stuff. I'm noticing that he is actually making direct eye contact with me as we speak. So yeah, he's really good. He looks a little bit more Frank Zappa than I do. So yeah, this has 7 songs on it. 1 8-minute, couple, I think 1 6-minute, few 4-minuters, and yeah, it's all decently long, and it comes out to about 32 minutes. So the way I thought about this album was, the day before I thought, I've been talking a lot about you know, making as much stuff as possible. I've been talking about make music and then worry about the quality of it after the fact. I've been talking about if you go onto my most popular videos are about learn an instrument by making an album, and then make an album and worry about the quality afterwards. And I've got stuff like, don't worry so much about the technical stuff. Don't worry so much about getting everything done properly. Just go out there and do it. And I felt like I was saying this an awful lot, but I started to feel like I was preaching without practicing, and so I really needed to just sit down and just do something, anything. And I picked this. I wanted to make something rapidly, creatively challenging and stimulating that can be done very quickly. And an album in a day just seemed like a really fun idea, a really fun way of approaching that. So in this video, I'm going to go through each of the 7 tracks, kind of let you know what I was thinking, and I'm also going to show you the Reaper thing for it, because I did all the stuff in Reaper, the DAW digital audio workstation Reaper, and maybe it was a stupid decision, but this is the way I did it, is that I didn't set up 7 different projects for the 7 different songs. I just had one project and I just expanded it, and I kind of kept things on the same layers for everything. So like the lead guitar is on the same layer for all of it, so the lead guitar all has the same compressor and EQ and reverb settings, which I kept very simple, plain, basically stock, that I tweaked little twiddles here and there. So what we're going to do is once that pulls up, I'm going to start going through these songs one by one. I'm going to start off with Praise the End, because it was a very simple song. This was in B minor, I think. I can't quite remember. This is a pick I made out of my old work card. So So yeah, it's a B minor little thing where everything follows this. I'm gonna shut it up for a sec. Where everything follows this very simple. So what I did with all of these songs really is I just needed to find something that hooked my attention, that grabbed my intrigue, and for this bass line I really liked. And it is technically following the pop 4 chord progression. 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1. But it kind of goes 1, 4, 5, or 1, 1, 4, 5, or 1, 1, 4, 5, or 1, 1, 4, 5, 3, 2, 0, 1, or 7. So yeah, it was a really fun thing. And then it occasionally, because you can't just have it be that, otherwise it would get a bit boring, so I also had it kind of do this E and F thing. So you kind of have those two to sort of play with, and those two little vibes kind of going on. Let me try and find the lyrics. See if I've got the lyrics. Yeah, here it is. So I felt like when I was playing, I just felt like this dun 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 dun. Take the sheen away. Take da 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 da. That sort of thing. So I started thinking of a vocal melody, and I kind of came up with take the sheen away from me until it seems that I can dream, and this is not the life. And that really stuck with me, and I really liked that little vocal melody kind of thing. So I just came up with some lyrics, very, very quick lyrics. Honestly, I literally did these lyrics in about 2 minutes, hence why they are so stupid. Like this track, like take the wax and put it back into the candle tracks, my movements in IMAX. My brain at first wanted to say in Iraq, in tracks, my movements in Iraq. Like I don't know, the idea in my head was it was like drones in Iraq, like bombs and stuff. But I also thought, I am not making a commentary on Iraq in a song that I've written in under 5 minutes, so I switched it to IMAX. And then I kind of started going into this, I don't really know, take the fact and make them black and white until it lacks a map to see us through. I liked doing that ooh kind of thing. I think I was trying to make some kind of larger critique of I don't know, the world in general, and our foray into the future, and you know, general big scary politics stuff. I think was what I was going for. I don't really know what the song's about. I don't think these are particularly good lyrics. Like this bit here, which is all about like the global greats, or in my head it was almost like the top of the food chain, billionaires and heads of corporations and presidents and stuff. All sitting down, just like, you know, you get like some servant that comes in, and then they take the little big silver dish thing off, and there's just like a baby underneath, and they just start like eating the baby, and that was the imagery that came into my head in that exact moment. And because of the nature of this project, that's what the song is. It's literally it's like photographing a 5-minute little mindset. You know, this wasn't something that I workshopped and really figured out to try and figure out how I was going to say it properly. I don't necessarily know what these lyrics are actually about, but the sounds work. I like the melody, and I like how the words sound next to each other, and that's kind of good enough. So next up, we're going to check out the song that follows it, which is Look All Around. Oh, I think it's actually done now. Yeah, here we are. So I can show you in the actual door itself. So this is the way that I set it all up. This is everything. Let me just collapse it all so you can actually get a sense of what this project actually was. So I'm waiting for it to do the buy me thing. It doesn't do the countdown properly. I think because this window is not actually activated. So now it's actually activated. Go away, don't care, not interested, blah, blah, blah. Oh wait, hang on. Oh yeah, no, that is kind of important actually. So I'm going to go into the preferences and I'm just going to go from ASIO to wave out. There we are, sorted. So now I'll actually be able to show you on this. Yep, there we are, sorted that. Sorry. So yeah, this song has a little kind of bridge B section thing, which is in 12/8. And the way that I did the drums to sort of let you know, because it sounds impressive, that oh, I got bits and weird time signatures. Not really. Because the way that I did it is I go into this one, the second drums, which has Modo drums, the VST from IK Multimedia launched up, and you go into grooves, you hit 12/8, burning. So I'm just messing around for now. So you can have a lot of fun with all the drum loops in here. So that's what all these are. All of these drums in here. And more blues is, I've used that in another song as well, these exact drums. So you hear it? Got it? So I've used those exact same drums. Let me just solo them so you can actually get a sense. So this is what the drums sound like. I've used these drums on a song called I Don't Think She's Coming Back. See if you can recognise it. It's in a slightly different tempo. And obviously I've mixed it ever so slightly, so it sounds like there's a bit more high end in this one, there's a bit more low end in this one. And you know, obviously the two songs go in different directions as well. But you use the same elements. It's the same way that both songs use guitar, in a way. I mean, you can do different things and put these grooves into different contexts, and you kind of change things anyway. Like you might, for instance, you might put fills together, and like these are all just little outro tom things. This is meant to be an outro, this isn't meant to be used as a bridge. But why can't I use it as a bridge? Who out there from IK Multimedia is going to come and like tell me no, you know? And then there's a little fill just to connect it. Because I like the dum 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 da down wow dum 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 sort of thing. So if it can get you doing stupid little sounds whilst you're making it, then you are in the money. Okay? So then it all returns to the original thing. Now this is part of where doing an album in a day can be a little bit of a limitation. I would have re-recorded this song, I would have made it a little bit better, but I like what I did here. So that's actually two drums. This is a second drum kit. So you hear that? Dum, dum, da, dum. If I get rid of that, it's just this. So it adds this little spark, and this was a technique that I figured out on the day of making this album, and I'm going to use that technique again because it's really fun. And so yeah, it was just a very basic outro-y, tremolo-y kind of noodly solo that's not necessarily going anywhere, that then finishes out, and it leads us straight into the next song. And this is the way that I made the album, is I made the album so that everything kind of just flows from one thing to the other. When I exported each individual track, I literally went into Premiere, the video editing suite, and I just put it down and I just sliced where it felt like the songs kind of transition, and then exported each of those as a WAV file and then uploaded those WAV files to Bandcamp and Spotify and everything. So that's how I did that. That then goes into a waltzy kind of thing, which I've been messing around with for a while, which is an A minor, literally just A minor.
Taking the time to think of a sight, something benign, but something I like.
So yeah, that's a really simple song. It's literally is just this. So you can have a little bit of fun with it. You can do it like fingery style. You can do it a bit like more muted, palm muted. You can have fun with this thing. And then I kind of came up with these lyrics, which were just at first I didn't know what the first verse was about, so I did the first verse. Of a sight, something benign, but something I like. I liked the melody of the vocals, and that has actually elevated this song. This is actually my favourite song on the album now. It's the one I've revisited the most.
That's all that I need.
Look all around, look all around. And then for the second verse, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But I felt like the look all around was talking about climate change and like how climate change is this big thing that's going on that no one really seems to be taking that seriously. And so this was kind of a look all around, look at all the shit that's going on. Like, Jesus, man. I mean, it's basic little, not brilliant lyrics. But I quite liked the idea that going forward into this, there's stuff about like airplanes falling, there's stuff about, I quite like this verse. Collapses the cost of all of our crimes, the smoke and the dust,
Envelop great heights, they'll take all of us.
I like that, and I liked the almost gothic kind of take all of us. I was like goth mixed with like, I don't know, operatic almost. Obviously I can't do either of those things, but it managed to work in this context. So that was, I think, the third song that I did. This was the second song that I did, the intro to the album. And then this is next we're going to go into the krautrock song, which I finished and I felt like, oh god, this is the worst one on the album, isn't it? I don't necessarily think it is. I feel like it's at least an interesting thing. I was very much ripping off American Analog's set have a song called Like Foxes Through Fences, which is on their album Know by Heart. Originally I was going to call this song British Analog's set, but I thought that was maybe a bit too on the nose and just a bit like piss-takey, and I've done piss-takey albums before and I didn't really want this to be that. I wanted this to be seen as like a legitimate album in its own right, that if you take away the album made in a day thing, it still holds up. I don't necessarily know if it does. I feel like some of the production's a bit sloppy. I feel like some of the playing is a little bit all over the place, and I feel like sometimes the arrangement of two things working next to each other doesn't quite work just because of how fast I was doing everything. But that's all fine, in my opinion, because the album is decent enough considering it was made in a day that I think I like it. I'm proud of it, Very simple ideas and ideas that would never have come about otherwise. So very basic, this one. This was in F-sharp Phrygian. It was just me messing around with F-sharp Phrygian, but it also doesn't sound like it's an F-sharp Phrygian. It sounds like it's actually treating it more like a D major. So it almost sounds more like that tonality when really what I was going for was... So yeah, it was quite a hard song to sort of figure out what scale or tonality actually was. I think in my mind, I was making an F-sharp Phrygian song, but I think it's come out as more of a D major sort of thing, because I was treating, because the bass line does this quite a lot. So it does a lot of that. So it was quite a difficult song to actually figure out what it really was. If I'd had more time, I would have probably put some like keys under it, some drones, and maybe some synthesizers. I think it would have benefited from that because I feel like the song's a bit thin and a bit stale, and I'm not super. I don't love it, but I'm glad it exists. Then this is the first song that I made for the album. I stupidly began the day by making an 8-minute long prog rock thing. When I told someone that I was making an album in a day, they said, make a song about Polaroids, and then they sent another text that said, and cold mornings. So I was like, oh, brilliant, cheers for that. I've got no ideas for songs anyway, so I'm going to do both of those. So the first one was about this wasn't actually going to be the one about Polaroids. This was going to be the song about Polaroids. And I did write some lyrics for it, which are gone. Okay, whatever, doesn't really matter. So these are the lyrics for the Polaroid song. It's a much more slow Pink Floyd-y kind of thing in G Lydian. It was kind of me also practicing with G Lydian because I'm working on a kind of a long rock, opera, progressive rock kind of thing in the same vein as Shine You Crazy Diamond or something like that, or Lady Fantasy, that kind of thing, where it's 20-minute, really like expansive, but yet cohesive piece of music that explores the G Lydian tonality. So that was kind of a bit of a practice for that, just making a song, trying different parts. That was my idea, see what works, see what doesn't. I don't think this song works particularly well, but that's because I've noticed that the clean guitar started having a playback at like playback rate of like 0.0999996 or something, like really close to 1. So a lot of things ended up a bit out of time and a bit weird because of that, and I sort of fixed bits, but then it kind of fixing it fucked other things up, and it I don't know, I felt like the song kind of fell apart at that point, and it's a long song to fall apart, to be honest, but I feel like when it works, it really works, because the chords are really nice, and I'm definitely going to revisit some of the ideas that are on this song, particularly this.
Polaroid pictures keep me sane.
I like that quite a lot. You can see that I really had to think about what was going on. C sharp, E, F sharp, B, A, and then it repeats. So I came up with this kind of bit mental chorus section.
They're all drinking the blood.
I really like this bit. Obviously, I'm not a great singer, so it sounds a bit mumbly, but I really like that kind of they're all drinking the blood. I liked just having a bit of fun with it, and like kind of, because G Lydian is such a beautiful, ethereal kind of thing, but then transitioning it to C sharp is just kind of like evil. What the fuck's... Oh, yeah. And then I think it goes into E. Then it goes into E after that, and it does a bit of a crescendo-y thing, which then pays off in B. I was following a song structure that I've used before, where there's 2 verses and they build up to a huge, just crazy, just like all that kind of crazy shit. Obviously that, but sounding good and not just ridiculous. Because a song I did called Communication, which should be on here actually, somewhere. Yeah, it'll be on this. So this song has D section. Yeah. And that was kind of the idea that I was going for. Trying to repeat that sort of same style, but in a different tonality, with a different set of structures, and with the lessons that I learned from making my previous album. That was kind of the idea, and then it repeats again with a little bit of a bridgy sort of calm down section that's going to come in a second. Now, and then it repeats again, and it sort of wraps up with this quite slow, ambiency sort of section that goes on for a while. It's a little bit dissonant, a little bit fucky. I kind of enjoy it, but I might have been secretly playing for time. Yeah, you see how it says rate on some of these? Oh shit. That really fucked me up because some of these aren't the right rate or something like that. I don't really understand how it works. And this is for different tracks as well. Like different tracks are in different rates, and I don't understand why it's done that. It really pissed me off. And I was trying to fix it, and I couldn't fix it in time. So I just had to live with it and turn it into a thing. Now this is a much simpler song. This was just me wanting to do this was just an excuse to solo, man. That was literally all this song was. So I came up with a single guitar loop, bass line. I can't really solo to it right now, but you get the general idea. It was an excuse to just have some fun, really. That's all this song was. Very simple bass line, but also it's a bass line that's so simple that you can do little variations on it, and it won't like take the listener out of what's going on. So this was very much a free-form jam sort of thing, playing for time a little bit because this was the last major song I did, where I could still use the amps, and like it was early enough in the day that I wouldn't be bothering people. Just before that, I made a metal song because I thought, look, I might as well make a metal song. So I made this, which is a very simple F-sharp Phrygian thing. Again, you can tell I like F-sharp Phrygian. It was something like that. I can't remember exactly how it went. A bit of a forgettable song, personally, for me. I listened to it and I was trying to think of a title for it and I couldn't think of anything. No images or anything like that came to mind. Like the song like this one, it felt very linear to me, so Straight Line felt like a good name for it. Polaroid was a song about Polaroid, so that worked. This song, the Krautrock song, I didn't really like, so Quantity felt like a good term for it. Waltz had the look all around refrain, so that worked, and then Praise the End had the Praise the End refrain in it, so that kind of worked. But Untitled didn't have any lyrics. I did start writing some lyrics, so like the idea was, I don't know what these are about, but it was like these were meant to go over the thrashy section. Frost on the glass, caked in prized halves, I can't take apart, blah 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 blah, something like that. I don't know what I was going for with it. I don't know what it even means. Frost on the glass, caked in prized halves, I can't take apart. I'm literally just desperately trying to lyrical miracle my way through this song in a day. But yeah, this song took a bit of a Tool progression. So it's got this kind of thing, it gets really thrashy and then it kind of comes down. I like all of that. And then it has this sort of breakdowny, I'm not sure what it is. Sorry. We're back. So yeah, it had that, which then built up into a little bit of a solo-y kind of thing, and then that built up into another breakdown section, which then broke down into another solo-y section. And once I'd done that, that was the last big song that I had for the day. That's a 6-minute, semi-prog metal with like various movements and stuff like that. So that was quite a difficult one. You can see, take 15 of 16. So I was really working my nut off to try and figure out a bass line for this and like riffs and stuff. So it was quite a hard sort of thing to actually do, that metal song. And to be honest, metal isn't my forte. It's not the genre I'm the most comfortable in. So I know it's not like a particularly great metal song or anything because it's literally just It's not even really a riff, really, is it? Like, come on, you know, come up with something proper. And then the last song, I realised that I hadn't done the song about cold mornings at that point. The metal song was going to be about cold mornings, and then I couldn't be bothered with it. No lyrics were coming to my mind, and I thought, am I going to have to shout lyrics over metal? That is not going to work. So I thought, let's make a quieter song with some soundscapes to it. So this is a really basic song. It's kind of reinterpreting an older song that I'd done called Buongiorno Straniero, which is in F Lydian, and it's sort of... So I wanted to reinterpret that in sort of cold mornings in the foggy haze in my window, the sun of mine goes lying down. I've forgotten what the words are, but yeah, I basically, instead of it being the F augmented chord that starts it off, I made it so the A minor starts it off, because both of those chords, like in Buongiorno Straniero, it feels like it always wants to resonate back into the A minor thing, and I'm like pulling it out. So with Cold Mornings, I just decided to allow the A minor thing to have its time in the sun. And it is literally just 2 guitar tracks. I literally recorded the one, and I do vocals on the same guitar track, just keeping the microphone a bit further away and like a bit hotter so it could kind of get both. And I had to sing a little bit louder so that it hears me over it. So I'll do a quick interpretation of the music, because I really like this song and I really want to expand it into something quite big. So no, it's not this. It's so cold mornings in the bed sheets mighty thin, protecting piercing winds. The warm corpse are lying. I've got to get up, but the air is blue, and I cannot get enough of lying here with you. The blanket's ever so warm, especially when you occupy the space right next to my head. I'm staying in bed. And then we got to verse 2, which I'll do as well. Cold morning star, and every day, with a new excuse in the heart. I don't get any say, I do not think highly of the world outside my window. I am shutting down the sounds. I will text my boss tomorrow morning. Blankets ever so warm, especially when you occupy the space right next to my head. I'm staying in bed. So yeah, that's how that song goes. I really like that song, and I want to expand it into something else with some drums and bass and stuff like that. I feel like you could get a really nice Pink Floyd style arrangement to this song. Yeah, so that's part of why I made this album, is that you do stuff like this and you find out that you've got some really fun ideas. Like that, I would never have come up with any of these songs, right, if I hadn't made an album in a day. None of these songs would have existed, none of these ideas would have existed, nothing about it would have existed, right? So do it, just go make an album in a day. It's actually a lot easier than you think it might be. Like, you see all these YouTubers that say like, oh, I made an album in a day, and they make it out like it's a really difficult process, that's really hard. Am I going to say it's easy? No. Is it impressive that, you know, Rob Scallon and Andrew Huang managed to make albums in a day and they've done it year in, year out? Yes, it is impressive. However, it's not the craziest thing ever, and you can do it too. It's not that difficult. I didn't wake up, I woke up at 7:30 in the morning, but it's not like I woke up at like 5 in the morning and got straight to it. It's not like I did anything like outside of my own comfort and ability. It's not like I really pushed myself that hard. I just did a little more than usual, really. And that was all it was. And I feel like I could do it again and again and again and again. And I want to do it next month as well. So, and you know, learn lessons from it and so forth, and see what happens, you know. And that was the idea. And yeah, give it a try yourself. And if you do make an album in a day, please send it over. And also upload it to DistroKid and upload it to Bandcamp and upload it like to Spotify and SoundCloud and all that stuff. I've not actually done SoundCloud yet. I need to do that. Particular thanks to Lydia Valentine for the album art. She did the she did that, and then I kind of just I put the Polaroid picture down on just a load of other stuff. I've got loads of old notes, like these are notes from old songs that I've done, and like that guitar there, I had a dream about 4 years ago, and I woke up and I drew the guitar that was in my dream, and it is literally my dream guitar. I would love to have it. Please, oh bollocks, dropping all sorts of stuff now because the video's coming to a close. I don't even know where that, there we go. So, thank you very much for watching this video, everybody. I hope you managed to get something out of it, and please do check out 12 Hours of Stubbornness. I'm actually fairly happy with it, you know. It's pretty decent, and if you make an album in a day, please send it over. Yeah, you can DM me on, I guess, Instagram, Official Morrison Productions. It's in the links in the description. DM me on there, or email me actually at Official Morrison Films. That's probably a better way of actually contacting me. I'm more likely to see it. Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. Please check out the album. I'm very happy with the results, and I'm very proud to share it with everybody. So, yeah, love you all. You're all brilliant, and keep going out there and making stuff, man. You'll make something really good one of these days. And if you haven't already, so yeah, take care, everybody. Bye bye. Hey up, everybody. My name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. Today, I want to talk to you about the album that I've just released called Decisions in Another Language. So that's what the album art kind of looks like. It's a picture that I took up in Derbyshire somewhere. And it's a sunset because the whole point of it is kind of, it's a breakup album basically, and the whole idea is sort of closing one chapter and just moving on, right? And finding your new future for yourself, as opposed to you as part of a duo or a couple or whatever, right? That's the general idea behind the album. It's semi kind of concept album. A lot of long songs on it. There's like a 10-minute, there's an 11-minute, there's a 9-minute, 6-minute or something like that. Anyway, there's a lot of long songs on it, and I like my long songs. I like my long, sprawling kind of soundscapes, and I wanted to do something that was a bit more thought out and long form in terms of the production of it, because I know I preach a lot on this channel about making things very quickly and making things very efficiently and just getting stuff out the door. And for this album, I've been working on this album for a long time. And the idea is that I've been developing these skills with the guitar. I'd probably made about 12, 13 albums by that point. And I thought, right, it's about time that I actually just sat down and just made one proper album where I can sit and say I'm honestly, genuinely happy with every single track on it and remain happy with every single track going forward. Because what I tend to find happens is, when I was releasing albums, and still to a degree actually now, is I'll release an album and I'll be happy with every single track. And then as time goes on, I'll go back to one track in particular and be like, actually, that was a load of shite. And then I'll go to another one and I'll be like, oh, Jesus Christ, I released this. And, you know, I've gotten a few comments lately that have sort of disagreed with my idea of publishing anything. They seem to agree with the idea that you should make stuff quickly and efficiently. Like, I did a video about making 100 songs as quickly as possible because apparently your first 100 songs are going to suck, so you just make them as quickly as possible. And a lot of people disagreed with my idea of actually releasing those songs. And I feel like I should clarify something. I don't think you should necessarily release every single thing that you do, but I think that if you've sat down and listened to it and thought, this is fucking sick, right? I'm loving this, then it's worth releasing, because if you like it, even at some point, even if you grow out of liking it, someone else will probably like it as well. I mean, I'm sure there's a song that you liked 10 years ago that now you go back and you're like, fucking, what was I thinking? Why did I like that? I used to like, there was a Nightcore version of some Rihanna song. I can't remember what the Rihanna song was. And I liked that about 10 years ago. And I look back at myself now, and if I had a time travel machine, I would genuinely sit down and interrogate my past self, because I don't know what I was thinking, okay? So there's room for everybody to kind of appreciate what you're doing, especially because it's not that hard to hit the upload button. There's this whole thing of like, oh, there's so much crap out there, right? So you shouldn't add to it. Well, why not? It's not like you not and going on like this hunger strike of not releasing your stuff is gonna suddenly fix everything and now there'll just be a perfect amount of good stuff everywhere. They say that 90% of everything is crap. I think it's much more like 99%, right? But the more stuff that's out there, the bigger that 99% is, the bigger that 1% is, right? And if you make 100 songs, then you're by definition probably going to be in that 1% by just the statistics of the numbers themselves. So I don't see why you shouldn't try and why you shouldn't publish, because it's only an upload button. And if people don't like it, they won't like it. You'll get a couple comments going, this is a load of shite, and then you can just get on with your day. And that's totally fine. But the alternative is that people come and they respect what you're doing, they actually get behind it and they actually like it and they actually find something in what you're saying, and that can be a beautiful thing in and of itself. Like if I took the sort of idea of not publishing everything, I wouldn't be here now talking to you with like this video will probably have like 300 views and some of them get like a couple thousand views or like 10,000 views, and I wouldn't be in that position if I hadn't taken the risk of just uploading stuff just non-stop, right? So why not? Okay, because it's just an upload button, it's free. It's not that you got to pay for each time you upload something. And worst that happens is someone listens to it and doesn't like it. And that's just the nature of art in general. Like I watched the first half hour of Killing of a Chinese Bookie earlier. It's John Cassavetes' thing. And I was really excited for it because I thought John Cassavetes, I really like him. I liked Woman Under the Influence, and I thought Killing of a Chinese Bookie, it's going to be good. I watched the first half an hour of it and I just thought, what the fuck is this? Genuinely, I did not like it. I really didn't enjoy it, right? I turned it off after about 35 minutes. And it was a shame because, he's a good director. And you know what? Other people like the film. I don't like Dune. Other people like Dune, okay? I like Joel Haver's The Hero's Journey. Other people won't like it. So we're not all just like this big homunculi of a species where we all like the exact same thing. So you need to take risks. Like if you told someone about 15 years ago that people now would be scrolling through something called TikTok with fucking Subway Surfers on the bottom and just some garbage clip from a podcast on the top, they'd say no motherfucker would watch that. But they do. They do watch it, and they do not enjoy it, but they certainly watch it to the end. So they obviously get something from it, enough to keep themselves going. They're obviously engaged, and it's lighting the things in the brain, the neurons, and it's releasing the dopamine and all that sort of stuff. So it clearly works. And if you can develop that onto creating some kind of actual engaging actual content rather than just short form garbage, then why not? So making an album is a pretty pure form of expression, I would say, because music as a whole is generally quite vulnerable as a thing, particularly like quite sad music. Like a lot of this album is quite sad. It's all about my fucking divorce, so it's generally a kind of a miserable sort of album, right? And a lot of it's in minor, a lot of it sounds sad, but when it gets a bit happy, that kind of makes you feel something, and when it goes this way, it kind of makes you feel another way, and so on and so forth. And the kind of general idea is that everyone will take something a little bit different from it, depending on their own circumstances. Some people might be in a relationship now that they're not particularly happy with, and they might be listening to my album Decision in another language, and they might get something out of it that's different from someone who's recently going through a breakup, or someone who's never been in a relationship ever, and they're listening to this. All three of those categories of people will get something different out of the album, and that was kind of the idea. And that's the idea behind music in general, and the emotional vulnerabilities behind music, right? Because you can say stuff in a song that you can't really say in real life, because it's too, I don't know, too from the heart, that people would think that it's sort of a little bit much or a little bit not right, and you can kind of it's almost confessional, the album, in a way. I don't confess anything, but it's certainly the most personal a project that I have ever done and plan to do for the foreseeable future. So I'm just going to go through the track list, right? There's 7 tracks on the album plus 2 bonus tracks, right, that you can get on Bandcamp. So the first song is called Communication, and the point of this album is it's a divorce, and the two people that are in that marriage, right, go on their separate journeys, right, and that kind of happens in the first couple tracks. So the first track is obviously communication, is breaking down. It's a breakdown of communication. So it sounds like that. So it's C sharp minor and G sharp minor. So it's literally just that, and then goes into this. And then this. And then it just kind of does that again, and then it returns to the C sharp minor, and that's the general idea for the first part of the song. And then it kind of goes into this total ambient section, which was because the whole point of this song is it's empowering sort of thing for the person leaving the relationship, the person that initiates the divorce, right? It's an empowering thing of like, you know, you're getting out of this horrible thing, a new chapter's going to begin, and you can close the book on this obviously quite shit book that you've just been reading for ages, right? And you can move on, you can spread your wings and fly. That's kind of the idea of the song, right? And then it goes down into the quiet sort of stage, and it comes back into an almost alien feeling synth world sort of thing from a guy called Dabadeya, who's from Chicago, I believe. Really amazing synthesizer, synth man. He helped me out with the synth sounds and all the weird sounds that are on the song. So thank you so much to him. I'll put a link to him down in the description so you can check out some of his music. It's quite good. And then the album then goes on to the song So I Guess This Is It, which is similar in that it's from the same perspective of the person leaving, but it takes more of a melancholic approach rather than the empowering sort of spread your wings and fly sort of thing. It's more of a, you know, this had to be done and I didn't really want to do it, but I kind of had to. I was kind of left with no choice, you know. And then it also shows the point of view of the person, like it's a little bit of the person who's being left behind in the chorus, sort of waiting for the new world to begin, essentially. So, how's it go? You were the sun. Hang on. I can't. Hang on. You were the sun that lit up the sky. I was something I don't quite know why. I forgotten the words to my own fucking song, and I seem to have lost the plot to play. Yeah, I can't quite remember how you play it. It's something like that. I used to be able to play it and sing it at the same time. I've obviously failed now, but basically the idea of that song is that it's taking the same empowering ideas, turning them on their head, right? That's the general thesis of the So I Guess This Is It song. And it's a lot more of a somber sort of thing. I figured, you know, you've had the intro banger kind of thing, that was like the high energy kind of thing. So now let's have a bit of low energy. Because a lot of the album is quite low energy. That's kind of the point of it, because it's not exactly a happy album, right? And then it goes into this sort of chorus, like, and I am done with you. So I guess that this is it, the end of all things. So I guess that this is it, the end of all things. Between you and I, the earth and the sky, waiting for the mailman to descend. And then it goes, so I guess, and then it just goes into does it again. So yeah, it kind of got the low energy and the high energy kind of thing together. The song's also a bit of an annoying kind of thing because it messes with tempo, so the chorus is a little bit faster than the verses. It was the first song I wrote for the album, and when I first wrote it, I wasn't actually going to do a whole album about the divorce thing. I was just going to do 2 songs. I was going to do one from my perspective and one from the other perspective. Right? That was the kind of idea. And then I was talking to someone and at the pub, and they liked the fact that I was doing both perspectives, and I thought, all right, maybe there's something in this that I can maybe do something more with this and experiment with this idea to actually expand it, right? And so I started thinking, right, how would I structure this? And I figured, well, logically, you would start basically at the end of the marriage and then just see the diverging paths. That was kind of the idea. So you got a couple songs from each perspective. For instance, the song Buongiorno Straniero, is basically the opposite of communication, where it's a song about the feeling of being left behind and the sort of anger and the stuff that kind of comes immediately, you know. And you start like conspiratorially like thinking like, oh god, they were having an affair this whole time. That explains that, and that explains this, and all that sort of stuff, right? So that was kind of the idea of that song. It's a much slower sort of Pink Floyd inspired sort of ballad in. I feel like this guitar's out of tune. No, it's not. No. So how's that one go? It's also a little bit in Italian for some reason. Buongiorno, straniero, the colors inside of me are riddled with disease. Buongiorno, sconosquito, non mi fido della moglie certadita. La puttana, la puttana. To me, I can't remember how that one goes. It's a really annoying song because then it goes into this really weird bit where it's sort of like shutting down the factory, endless paperwork to sign, and I've really forgotten all the chords to it. And then it ends with this. That's not the guitar being out of tune, that's literally what the chord sounds like. It's some B suspended fucking thing, right? And then it does it again, and then it does that. So, blah, hang on, how's it go? Nothing could ever beat this. Total isolation. I'm satisfied. So that bit there, it's suddenly it becomes like there's an extra beat in there. So there's one bar of 5/4 in this chorus when the rest of the song is in 4/4. So it's a little bit fucky like that, and it's in F sharp Lydian. Yeah, it's in F Lydian. So you got that song, and that's quite a long one, and I really spent a lot of time like nailing down that sort of thing. I normally don't make and write out exact solos. I normally jam a solo out and kind of combine a couple ideas and see where it's going to take me from the natural improvised side. This time I made up like the solos, and I really honed the solos in because I wanted quite a specific sound. I wanted this to be quite a structured song, and I wanted it to be quite tight and rigid in its form. I made like 8 demos of it, and by the end the demos were starting to sound exactly the same. I'm just going to check that this has some. I've got 4 minutes left on this, and I've got 4 more songs to do. So we just rush through the rest of the songs because like Conclusion Delusion is really piss easy because those first 3 songs I probably spent the most time on, and then the second half of the album I went back to my more quantity over quality approach. And honestly, I think Conclusion Delusion is the best song on the album. So it's how's it go? Do we really need an ending? I mean, what the hell was that? Conclusion delusion, I see. What is 9 in my eyes? I forgot the lyrics. And then that's literally it, and then there's a breakdown, like a metal-y sort of breakdown. It's something like that. That's probably my favourite moment in the whole album. And then the song Butterflies was another song that was written very quickly, and it's probably my second favourite song on the album. So the 2 songs that I wrote the quickest are my favourite ones, and the 2 that I spent a year on are my least favourite ones. Okay, so I think that should sort of speak volumes about why I believe so strongly in the idea of quantity over quality, because I think that quantity leads to quality, and I don't necessarily think that quality leads to quality. It's like because I can see on Bandcamp, right? Where's the Bandcamp? If I get the Bandcamp up for you and I show you the behind the scenes of it, right? It's very, very obvious what songs people like and what songs people don't like by how big the red bar is. The red bar represents the skips, okay? So the song Polaroid that was on my last album that I did in a day, right? I don't think people like it very much because it's got quite a high percentage of red. So I don't know if you can see the red right there. It's got 28 red to 65 yellow, right? If you compare that to, say, Praise the End, which is a song that people obviously like a bit more, it's got 37 red to 263 yellow. So there's way more yellow than there is red, because yellow means they listen to between 10 and 90% of it. Red means they listen to under 10% of it, so they skipped it, right? The song that I thought on that album was going to be the worst one actually did way better. It had 18 red to 66 yellow. But then look at this, Communication, the song that I told you I spent over a year doing, right? 14 red to 27 yellow. That's not great, right? I don't think that's particularly good. So yeah, that sort of should go to show you that you shouldn't be so caught up in what counts as something perfect, what counts as something good, what counts as something that's worthwhile to an audience, and why I do believe that you can just publish whatever you want, because it's only an upload button. It's not like you have to pay to do it, right? And it's not like there isn't already, like, you know, millions upon trillions of hours of crap out there already. Just adding your bit of spit to the giant spitball that the human race has made isn't going to cause it to collapse under its own weight or anything. So don't worry so much about it. Worst that will happen is someone will type a little comment that will be a bit insulting. You'll read it and you'll show it to your friends and have a bit of a laugh, and that's it. Okay? So thank you so much for watching this. I know I didn't bother showing you how to play the songs because I realised it's not particularly interesting. I want to move on from this album. I don't plan on returning to these songs. The only one I plan on returning to is Conclusion Delusion, and I might play Butterflies, but I don't think I'm gonna play any of the others ever again. So they're all in the past, and it's not like I dislike them, but as I said, it's a personal album, and the way that as I said, it's about my divorce, right? I don't really want to keep like going back to that well. That's done. It's all over. Okay. That was the point. So yeah, it's finished, the album, and I'm glad it's done, because my God, was it a fucking weight on the brain. So now it's done, I can move on to new, better projects, and I can't wait to tell you what that's going to be, because we got some new music in the pipeline. So look out for that. The Mantis Shrimps email band is slowly coming together as well. Send us an email at officialmorrisonfilms@gmail.com. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the day. Take care, everybody, and